Okay, welcome back. Let's continue our discussion of the age of imperialism by looking at the experience of the British in India. Um, India, of course, at the beginning of the 1800s was still, at least nominally, under the control of the Mughal Empire. But by the middle part of the 1800s, the British East India Company controlled the entire, or almost all of the subcontinent. Basically, you had a business, a corporation controlling India. They basically had this divide and conquer mentality. They used the caste systems and the different groups in India that did not like each other, like Hindus and Muslims. Uh, they played them against each other in order to control India. They also started to introduce a lot of things about Western culture into India, and at the same time, sort of denigrating Indian culture. Uh, to be Indian was to be inferior to being British or European. The British East India Company's control came to an end in 1857 with the Sepoy Mutiny. These native soldiers that rose up in rebellion against the British is a pretty brutal affair. It caused a lot of deaths of Europeans, and in suppressing it, there was a lot of death and destruction with the native Indian population. With this mutiny comes the end of the British East India Company's control, and India becomes a part of the British Empire formally. Um, Couple of things that happen as a result of India being under British control. There's an emphasis on cash crops, and of course, growing things for export rather than for food is going to lead to some famines. There's deforestation that takes place. There is some benefits. The British do stop a lot of the internal fighting that's going on. They do link the country together with railroads, establish communications, and probably the most lasting thing they did was establish a British-style educational system to where the upper levels of Indian society are educated in the British manner. Um, these people, of course, go to Europe to school. They start to absorb the ideas of the Enlightenment, the ideas of nationalism, and you start to see this movement begin to take hold in India. Um, the creator of the modern India is a man by the name of Ram Mohan Roy. He advocated that there needs to be an adoption of Western culture, but also a celebration of Indian culture. So he really emphasized this combining Indian and Western culture together. There was an organization created in 1885 called the Indian National Conference. What they advocated for was self rule for India. They wanted India to govern itself, just like some other parts of the British Empire, like Canada, were starting to govern themselves. They did promote Westernization. They did want to do things peacefully, but this was an organization that was dominated by Hindus. And because there were so many Hindus in this group, this led to the creation of the Muslim League, which they wanted to protect Muslim interests, and ultimately they start to push for the development of a separate Muslim state. And here's a map that shows what India looked like in 1914. You see that Pakistan and Bangladesh don't exist, and Burma is kind of added on to the eastern side of the subcontinent. So all of this was British territory.